All right, so this section right here, this was one of the things that we did not have time to cover. And, I mean, you all know we got in crunch time. But the reason I wasn't too worried about that is basically every bit of this you can do in Desmos. So we could think about the square root of 50. Square root of 50, we know the square root of 49 is 7, right? Because 7 times 7 equals 49. Well, square root of 50, we know it's going to give us a decimal. So you can do something really cool with this with Desmos. Type in square root of 50. And I want everybody to do that with me. You're going to get 7 point, a really long decimal. What you can do with Desmos is type in every single one of those answer choices and see which one gives you the same exact decimal. Okay, is 7.07 la-di-da the same thing as 4 point? It's not. So we need to try the next one. 2 square root, 2 square root of 25. Okay, that one says 10. So we know that's not right either. So now let's try the last one. 5 square root of 2. Well, if you look, both those give you the same exact decimal, so you know it is D. That's literally all you have to do for those type of questions. Yes, there's a way we could do it by hand, but there is no way in a million years that I think any of y'all would do it by hand, because that problem would take you a long time to work out. So yeah, now if we have questions like this one gets a little bit trickier. If you have exponents, the way you find an exponent of a variable is, let's say that you had, and I'm just writing some examples here. Let's say that you had the square root of x to the 4th power. What square root means for variables is you take half of your exponent. So what is half of 4?
2.
So that would be 2.
What if it's an odd number?
Good question. So like square root of x to the 8th would be x to the 4th. Okay, if it's an odd number, so let's say x to the 9th.
Wouldn't it be 4.5?
Okay, close. We know we could pull out an x to the 4th, but what we would do is think of one number less than that. What's one number less than 9? 8. So if we do it with an 8, we know that's going to be x to the 4th because the 8 is x to the 4th. But how many do we have left over? 1. Well, that 1 left over you have to keep inside the square root symbol because you cannot find half of that number. Does that make sense?
So that means that this one is either B
So,
or C. Or
with that being said, just look at the variables. We know it cannot be A.
it could be B.
It possibly could be B because half of 4 is 2. And then you take one of those away. That would give you 2. Half of 2 is 1. And that leaves 1x inside. So it could possibly be B. Could it be C?
It's C. It's C.
Could it be C?
Yes.
No.
No. What's wrong with C?
No.
X to the 3rd.
X to the 3rd. So we know it's got to be either, well, actually, let's look here. Could it be D?
No.
No. What's wrong with D?
It's x squared.
X squared. So the only one that possibly could be is B.
So we just answered that without even doing that.
Yeah, pretty much. So, and just to show you again what you can do, you cannot put your variables in here, but you could put the square root of 28, and then let's just do the numbers. 2 square root of 7. Well, that gave you the same decimal. So you know those two numbers work, the 2 and the 7 with the 28. The variables you actually have to think. Desmos cannot do the variable. Oh, you can't even see that. Guys, if y'all can't see something on the screen, please tell me. That way I don't look stupid. All right. Number 3. This is another one of the things. I think I already did show you how to type that in. Does anybody remember how to type that in?
Yeah.
What do you do? Max?
The button, you know, beside the ABC, the square root button. What? No, you don't. The functions, whatever.
Okay, functions?
No, MISC.
Yeah. And that stands for miscellaneous. Good. So what you're going to do, where that N was, you're going to type in the 3.
Thank you.
So the cube root of 135. All right. So now we know which two can we automatically tell is not going to be?
C and D.
C and D. Those are whole numbers. So we know it's not going to be C and D. So now let's try the other ones. So 3, and then go to the functions. Go to the N, 3, type in a 5. Okay,
Yeah.
did that give us the same decimal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, so we know it's A. That's literally all you have to do for this stuff. So do you see why I wasn't stressed about us not going over this?
Yeah.
Desmos is your friend.
Lifesaver.
All right,
Isn't this the exact same thing?
pretty much. Yeah, I'm going to still go ahead and go over each one of these. So on this one, we have cube root 3, negative 135. And then just try each one. 3, cube root 3, negative 5. Okay, did that give us the same decimal?
Move your phone over a little bit.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't see. I'm going to look at my other answer key. I don't really see why B wouldn't work as well. Oh, because you can't pull out a negative. That's right. So yeah, the negative has to stay inside the square root because you cannot pull out a negative. So that's why B cannot work. So it is A.
Yeah.
All right. And then number 5, simplify the expression. So this is another one. I would just do Desmos again. Literally type in each one of those. So square root of 40. Make sure, this is where people mess up on this type of problem. Make sure you don't just type in minus square root of 10. You have to press the space button or the arrow button to get beside it, and then minus square root of 10. Again, plus square root of 90. All right, so we're looking for 12.649 something. So now we'll just try each one of these. 2, square root of 30. That's 10.9, so we know that's not right. The square root of 120 is not simplified, so I know it's not going to be that one. Then 4 square root of 10 is 12.64911. So that is the correct answer. Questions? I don't know what the square root of 20 gave you. Let's do it real quick. That doesn't give you the right answer anyway, so yeah. All right, and then this one. So this one, I don't think that they'll have a question this complex on your SOL, but it is an important, like the concept is important. So type in the second radical expression, which when multiplied with the given radical expression to the left will yield the following simplified expression. Holy cow. No, they're not going to ask you that. Yeah, mark out number 6.
Is that even English?
I'm curious. They're not going to ask you to do that with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different things. That's insane. So don't worry about that. And guys, I think I mentioned already, but if I did not, the reason that there's been several problems that we've had to mark out, this packet, I think, was actually created before some of y'all were born. So this packet's old. A lot of the SOL standards have changed since then, and this type of stuff they've gotten rid of, and that's why there's certain problems in the packet that we just completely marked out. But I do want to go over